you'd think you'd have more CO2 and less CO2 leaving, right? Because where is it going? It's going up. You're breathing it out, right? So here, you're going to have a partial pressure of 45, and down here, this is CO2, and here you're going to have a partial pressure of 40.
So at the arterial end and at the venous end.
Of the
Pulmonary capillary, okay.
I hope you guys the first thing you do is, okay, well, what are the lungs trying to do? You ask yourself that first, and then everything else should straighten out. Okay, now let's follow the blood, you guys. Let's follow the blood. Are you guys with me? Let's follow the blood. Here we go. We're leaving now. We're leaving the heart, or whatever. We're going back into the heart. We're leaving. Here we go. What do you expect the partial pressure of CO2 to be right here? Right here. Right here.
45.
The same. The same. Because there has been no gas exchange yet. At the arterial end, no gas exchange yet. So there should be no change. So it should still be 40. So this is going to be 40. So then we go through the capillary, and what are we doing? What's the point? We're gonna collect. Yes, we're gonna collect CO2. So it'll go up to 45. So the venous end, you'd expect the venous end of the systemic capillary for the partial pressure of CO2 to go up. I keep saying CO2, because we have to do this all over again for oxygen. Does this, what's the word? Not intellectually, but like, does this make sense? Does it make sense that after you hit the cells, and then, so here's your cell right here, you guys, so then here would be like here's your cell. Whatever cell you want to. That you'd have more CO2 leaving the tissues. That's the point. Why? So you can take that more CO2, bring it up to the lungs to get rid of it. And that's why the partial pressure at the arterial end is 45. That's the reason, because it was 45 down here. It's 45 because there has been no gas exchange. There's nothing happens up until this point again. Then it goes back down from 45 to 40 because we've gotten rid of a little bit of CO2.
So when the lungs, it's 40, and then when it gets to the veins, it's 45, because the veins are after the...
Yeah, but you want to be careful. When you say when it gets to the vein, yeah, when it gets to the vein, yes. When it gets to the systemic vein, it goes back up to 45, yes. So let's do this again. Here, if we have a partial pressure of 45 millimeters of mercury at the arterial end of the pulmonary capillary, then when we leave, you would expect the CO2 to drop, because that's the point of the lungs, is to get rid of CO2 but gain oxygen. All right, so here we go. We have now a partial pressure of 40. Down, 40, 40, 40, 40. We have some gas exchange, and what do we have? And so you go from 42, 45, because we have picked up the waste. We picked up the waste. Oxygen. Ready? We may have gone over it. Did we go over? A little bit? Kind?
What time is it?
Fine?
5 minutes.
All right.
It has to do with cell metabolism.
Okay. When we leave the lungs, we have a partial pressure of 100. We have 100 here. oh, wait. When we leave right here, down here, we have 100. And then, but like, here, we end up having like 95. Okay, we lose a little bit, okay? So over here, it's 95. It's almost 100. Now, we're talking oxygen now. Do we expect to have more oxygen by the time we get over here, or less oxygen? Less. Where is the oxygen going?
Capillary.
To the cells. Yeah, to the cells. We're dropping it into the cells. It's pressure, you guys. It's just like diffusion. It's the same thing. Pressure, it works just like diffusion, just like hydrogens and whatever. So, yes, and in fact, we do have less here. What is the number? There's only one more number up there, you guys. 40. So where is it then? So here we would write 40 milligrams of mercury of, millimeters of mercury of, there. If you can just kind of keep those numbers memorized, like the 40, 45, everything else should line up because you understand that lungs supply the body with oxygen and rid the body with CO2. And down here, we're doing the opposite, where, well, actually no, we're doing the same. We're still supplying the body, the cells, with oxygen and getting rid of the body of CO2 down here. So, oh, one more thing. 40, blood is going back up. We have a partial pressure of 40. What do you expect the partial pressure of oxygen to be here? 40, because nothing has happened. Nothing has happened until you have the gas exchange. 40 millimeters of mercury of. There are those basically 4 numbers that I want you to. There's a couple things we skipped, but as long as we had all this drawing up here, might as well just do that part. So then, I will say, so here's a test question. As you approach the systemic cells, so here, as you approach the systemic cells, what do you expect, as you approach the systemic cells, do you expect to have more oxygen in the nearby cells, or more oxygen in the capillary? More in the capillary. Matter of fact, you have 95 where you only have partial pressure of 40. If you want to write the other number, I mean, like, so you actually have 40. You actually have 40 in here, by the way, you guys, in this cell.
More
you
in
only
the
have partial
cells.
pressure of 40, which is why it ends up being 40.
More in the capillary.
It's why this ends up being 40, because it has equalized. So anyway, more. What do you expect the partial pressure in the tissue? What do you expect the partial? Amanda, you got it?
More what?
What do you expect the partial pressure of CO2 to be? What do you expect the partial pressure of CO2 to be in the venous end of the pulmonary capillary? What do you expect the partial pressure of CO2 to be in the venous end of the pulmonary capillary?
40.
Let me just think of what I just said. Venous end, CO2, 40, less.
Yeah.
Do you see how many different questions I can ask you guys?
Yeah.
Because it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's like then you have to do it all over again for oxygen. There's like 16 different questions that I could ask.
Why don't you just ask us what the numbers are?
Huh? I am gonna ask you what
No,
the numbers
just
are.
like,
Oh,
The simple numbers, just.
If I-
but you gotta see how you, like, that's how I'm gonna,
We know.
that's the nomenclature, so. All right.
Ordinary would be at the top with the line.